Hi, this is Harriet. I write and podcast about the psychology of eating disorders. I've personally recovered from bulimia and have worked as a therapist for 20 years. I hope to inspire, educate, and improve understanding about eating disorders through my writing. Names used are fictional and stories shared are a combined insight of many client experiences. I believe that full recovery is possible for everyone. So when exercise is draining, exhausting, and compulsive, 12 ways to find a healthier relationship with movement. So compulsive exercise is not joyful. It has become a weary, punishing should to endure despite injury and bone-weary exhaustion. And you cannot stop. Your sanity depends on completing the next workout and achieving your step count. It's rigid and time-robbing of precious life moments. And you rely on exercise to earn your meals and to give you permission to eat. It's a distraction from difficult emotions, and it's intricately linked to weight control and body image. And it's more than psychological. When you're restricting your food intake, the brain chemical leptin is significantly reduced, and this drives the urge to be active and move. And it's a survival mechanism in human beings, which would have kept us alive in scarce times gone by. Activity can be happening in different forms. You may be openly and deliberately engaging in activities such as gym sessions or swimming, or you may have become secretive in increasing your exercise through additional pacing around the house when no one is there, or standing for long periods rather than comfortably sitting down. Or you may have joined more than one gym so you can do extra sessions without prompting concern from staff. And you may feel really confused about the healthiness of your exercise, because in a world that praises constant movement and screams forcefully about the fear of eating too much, you may well be validated for your extreme regime, viewed as the fit person, as others do not understand your internal torture and compulsion. So here are some signs that your activity levels might be unhealthy. So physically, you may be weary and exhausted. You may be prone to stress fractures, osteoporosis, dehydration, frequent injuries, poor immune functioning, amenorrhea, loss of sex drive. Emotional and social symptoms. Maybe it prevents you socializing with friends or relaxing. You're isolating due to the demands of your routine. You have increased levels of anxiety and irritability when unable to exercise. Body dissatisfaction and poor concentration. And you may also recognize yourself in the following. I force myself to exercise even when I'm tired or injured. I exercise every single day and feel guilty if I miss it. I feel lazy if I don't complete my plans. I must always exercise for longer, harder than I did the last time. I make excuses to miss social events or studies so that I can exercise. I exercise to allow myself to eat or to compensate for what I have eaten. People will like me more if I'm fit and active. I need to exercise so that I can cope with the way that I feel. And I make up for any exercise I've missed by doing more the next time. My anxiety is unbearable if I miss exercise. And I used to really enjoy exercise, but now it feels like a chore. See if you identify with these statements, be kind and compassionate with yourself. Appreciate that you've fallen into using exercise as a means of coping. So how to improve your relationship with exercise? Number 1, acknowledge that your overactivity is a problem. So we live in a culture where we're constantly told to eat less and move more. And this overriding message can lead you to justify that any amount of exercise is worthy and good. And this myth can be a powerful block for change. So it's important to stand back and acknowledge the reality of this relationship. Over-exercise is fundamentally not healthy for body and mind, and there are several costs for your physical and mental well-being. Number 2, honesty and self-awareness. You may feel ashamed about your relationship with exercise, with it becoming covert and secretive, and you may avoid recognizing your dependency on it. But it's helpful to gain an honest and clear overview of your typical habits. You could keep a diary over the course of a week to monitor your activity levels, including planned sessions and additional movements such as standing for long periods or endless steps. And this gives you a bird's eye view of your behaviors, which is the first step towards considering change. Number 3, pros and cons of change. To work on motivation for change, write out the pros and cons of your exercise routines, thinking about physical, psychological, and social factors. So, what are you gaining from overactivity? What are the genuine costs? What might you gain from reducing activity, and what would you lose? Number 4, visualize the changes you desire. So, really think about how you would like your relationship with movement to look. How much would you be doing? And what about rest days and time off? How would you like to feel physically and mentally? Number 5, normalizing anxiety. Okay, thinking about reducing exercise will make you feel scared because over-exercise has become a safety behavior which you turn to reduce this anxiety to temporarily feel better. So not doing it might leave you climbing the walls or terrified about weight gain. And your mind will be elaborating terrifying predictions and catastrophic outcomes. This is okay, this is normal, you will get through this. And people generally find that the thought of change is much worse than the actual change itself. So consider how you have navigated and overcome difficult challenges before. You can do this. Number 6, reducing activity levels. Set some baby step goals to move you in the direction of change. So if you're doing a certain number of steps per day, think about reducing this by a specific number. And if you're having to work out so many times a week, think about cutting a session. And if you're running for X number of minutes, then think about cutting this slowly. And you might find it helpful to cut out compulsive exercise altogether for a period of abstinence. And you may need to change your environment or cancel your gym membership to support yourself. This can seem very radical, but it actually is really, really helpful. Consider the most helpful and personal approach for you. Number 7, learning to listen to your body. You may feel completely out of tune with your body and its signals. You might regularly push yourself to exhaustion and overhunger, and you might find it hard to rest and be constantly busy. And you'll likely be driven by an internal critic who chastises you for not being productive and calls you lazy even if you think about sitting down. So before you exercise, consider your physical state. Are you injured? How are your energy levels? Are you nourished and full of energy? Have you slept adequately? Do you need a rest day? Reflect on your emotions. What is the reason for exercising now? Are you looking to escape or numb difficult feelings? And is exercise the best strategy to cope with these feelings right now? Think about intuitive movement. Will this exercise rejuvenate or uplift me, or will it deplete me? Will this exercise enhance my body-mind connection or not? Will it alleviate distress or produce more? And am I feeling genuine enthusiasm towards it or pain and dread? Number 8, alternative activities. Engage in alternative activities for distraction when you are feeling a compulsive urge to exercise. For example, talk about your thoughts and feelings with others or participate in enjoyable activities. Use distraction techniques, read a book, listen to music, or try an arts and craft activity. Number 9, apps, pedometers, and tracking tools. Avoid the overuse, or maybe use at all, of activity and exercise apps or pedometers, as they may increase your focus on the amount of exercise you are doing. And also they detract from you listening to your body and knowing when it's time to stop. Number 10, social media. Minimize the use of social media and internet sites related to exercise and stay in your own recovery lane with clear boundaries and intentions about the movement that is right for you. Number 11, reframing exercise as joyful movement. Move away from seeing exercise as compensation for eating, as this leads to a very all or nothing relationship with activity. With this mindset, you're either doing well or you might abandon it completely. Instead, move towards seeing movement as something for mental well-being as well as physical. Think about decreased anxiety, improved mood, better body image, and sleep. And finally, number 12, know that baby steps do add up to a great deal. See your progression as a marathon, excuse the pun, rather than a sprint. Overnight change is unlikely, but by taking baby steps, these are going to add up to a significant change over the course of the next year. And one day you will look back and see how far you have come. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to share any comments or feedback, please do get in touch with me on Instagram at the eating disorder therapist _ or on Substack or you can comment in the podcast show notes. Thank you so much.